So making a video like this honestly makes me very uncomfortable, but having talked with the community and posted a couple of member videos about it, y'all have continued to remind me that it's okay to ask for help and also kind of share with you guys what is going on, obviously behind the scenes in this regard. The situation ends up being that over the course of the summer, I've had kind of ebbs and flows in terms of various different contracts, and some things just continue to get put onto hold. And that has essentially created these weird months of being able to make enough money, and then months in which that we have to kind of tap into savings. And previously, I've never really relied on the YouTube revenue. There's only been 2 months that I have had to use it, which was both times when I ended up getting COVID and I was unable to work. Being an independent software engineer doesn't afford, vacation as you would kind of consider it if you worked for a company. Now, also several of you've reached out. I'm pursuing leads in terms of new contracts and or other methods in which to kind of obviously make sure I have a sustainable, maintainable source of income. But I've also been reminded by this community and also by many others who've reached out and tell me that I should lean in on content creation. That the fact that when I shared how much actually the channel makes, that clearly I'm doing either something wrong or that I'm, it's weird, it's uncomfortable, but to kind of share in terms of the revenue, I've been kind of sharing some of this stuff within the members only videos. But in July, this channel specifically made $600. 300 of that, half of that was actually because of members. The rest of it was just kind of really abysmal. You probably maybe heard of other YouTubers talk about the ebbs and flows. And one of the reasons why I'm hesitant on any kind of real push into content creation, not that actually I would give up programming. In fact, I want to continue to build out, my own apps and also continue to work on various contracts. But one of the things that I've been hesitant on is the ebb and flow of it. And, in this case, I'm going to sit down and actually ask you guys for your help. If you can also talk about how you can help in a completely free way, if at all possible, in and of itself. But what I'm going to talk about in this regards is that right now, I could definitely use some of your financial assistance. I don't necessarily know for how long, but August actually was a little bit better. Like I said, within July, the channel made it 600. August, it actually went up to 1,000. I have a couple other channels, but those don't make nearly what this channel does in terms of views and revenue, but they are growing and there's some definitely hopes there. My personal hope with content creation is that I can generate $5,000 a month. And I know that sounds like a lot. And for some people, that is definitely a lot. But in my case, especially with kids and family, it is a lot, but it isn't the whole thing. And so my thought process here is to see if at all possible that if you have the ability and the want to, and you feel like the content earns it and deserves it. I've always had the dollar membership level here on this channel. Now, generally speaking, YouTube takes 30% of that. Obviously taxes, blah, 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 not necessarily worried, but the hope was always to be able to grow the dollar membership club so that it was open to everybody. Now, if you want to support more than that, or you can support more than that, there's the $5 and the $10 tier. And I cap it at $10 because I've always wanted to say, like, if you have that level of generosity, there's other really great content creators that are making awesome things. And I would encourage you guys to go and support them as well. But in my case, I always wanted to open it up to $1 and keep it at $1. I've been advised that I should take that down. And I was like, no. Like, it really is important that membership isn't, this exclusive sense, especially because I'm going to be putting more and more member only content that is driven off of that, talking about a wide range of topics that are both brought up by you guys, but also just more things that are, I think, important to me as a dad and as a man and as a gamer, and just kind of having these real life conversations. I've done a couple of those here on the channel. And those are actually going to just be in that membership tier for those who want that kind of content. But beyond that, that's why I wanted to keep the dollar, kind of the price point, because I think essentially I just want to open it all. The other nice thing is that, especially behind the member exclusive content ends up being that with gifted memberships, it feels like membership in and of itself is open to all. So I'm able to explore a lot of, detail analysis data. We kind of explored some stuff with the actual going through my analytics and more. So I'm trying to obviously have like a value for you guys there as well. But in this regards, a couple things that end up coming out of it. Now, if I'm not able to obviously get to that level, no worries. I don't think that's on you. That's kind of where I've been hesitant on this, but continue to actually be encouraged by several of you guys to remind me like it's okay to ask for help. So this is kind of me asking for help, and ideally, hopefully, maybe finding 5,000 of you guys who were able to do like $1 a month to help balance that out and bring the YouTube revenue up to a sustainable amount to justify the time. Otherwise, and this isn't a threat, like this is just what I would have to do, is I honestly would just need to scale down in terms of the content that I make. Now, if we're able to hit these goals, I definitely want to actually bring you guys something because of that. I was thinking either about a weekly kind of, MMO gaming show. We've been doing the weekly podcast itself live, and that's, I think, really so much fun. Like, honestly, that's such a joy to be able to sit one-on-one and talk about what's going on. And that's something I'd definitely like to continue. And this would absolutely make sure that that can continue. Otherwise, I might just have to look at my schedule and prioritize, obviously, ways in which that I can support my family. And I don't think anybody would feel bad about it. Like, that's obviously my job and my goal. And I always kind of take this on as like, this is kind of my responsibility. It's not yours. But if you have the ability to help in this regards, that's what I would love for you to consider. Now, people have asked me about like Patreon, all that. Personally, it actually becomes like a lot more to manage than I'm really good at. I don't necessarily possess all of the skills and bells and whistles, especially with trying to make sure that I'm attentive to the family and I'm doing all these different things. So I don't want to overcommit. I just feel like the membership here would be the best case scenario. And again, trying to make it open for all to be able to support that. And then obviously, if we were able to hit those goals beyond like, some of the things that I want to do, I would obviously maintain the current kind of production schedule that I'm running. For those who don't know, like I tend to get up at, 5 in the morning. I tend to stay up late. There's a lot of things that I do. The nice thing that YouTube empowers me to have the ability to is like to address things as they either happen, but also to be able to go spend time with my family. And when they go to sleep, then I get to do whatever. But now I kind of want to talk about like free ways that you can support. So that way, again, like I always believe, and I will believe this and continue to say it, that like showing up for like a video is support. Like, engagement is support. So don't ever feel like if you can't give financially that like I view you in any less form or fashion. But I would still also encourage that if you have the ability, hang out on the streams. I stream over on Twitch on Friday. Chris, my YouTube partner for Work to Game, he streams over there, Monday through Thursday and sometimes on Friday. If you have Amazon Prime, like you actually get a free monthly sub that you can go use once a month. You have to do that manually, but it's a great way of support. If you are supporting over on Twitch, please don't pull that support over here. Like that's enough in that regards. I don't, Chris, he takes the bigger cut of Twitch because he's live all the time over there. That's his primary source of income. For me, like I look at this as a way to kind of bolster up or hopefully help support this so that I can maintain and, my independence as a software engineer and be able to continue to do that. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't work out that way, like no worries. Thank you guys so much for just being here and subscribing and all that wonderful stuff. But if it does, it would actually give me the ability to continue this. Right now, like, things aren't as bad. The humbling and kind of embarrassing moment, was my Final Fantasy 14 expired and I hadn't gotten, paid yet from the Twitch. So I didn't actually have the money to spend on it. And like I said, we've had months where like we've made enough, and then we've had months where we've had the dip into savings, and we're not like in dire straits of losing the house or having the power shut off yet. we got plenty of runway right now, but when just kind of looking at it and seeing how many different kind of contracts continue to get put on hold and not necessarily like kick off when they're scheduled to, what that might end up looking like is that it might just be a couple of months just where everything's just kind of really slow, which means I can make more content, which I enjoy. But what it ends up meaning is that tends to then bundle all that stuff up. And so it makes it very difficult in certain months where I end up just being super busy and super stressed, trying to, make sure that I can try and make up for any kind of, gap that happens in my income. I know that 5,000 is a lot for a lot of people. Like as independents, I don't get, insurance. So like our insurance costs us like $1,200 a month, dental and all those things. Like all these things are just real life expenses that you end up taking on yourself when you choose to live the life that we choose to live. And again, I don't think this is your responsibility. This is kind of mine to figure out. But because you guys have been so supportive and so encouraging, I'm making this video to kind of ask for your help and for you to consider hitting that join button or engaging in the content that I post here on the channel itself, as that's also a really great way to continue to help this channel grow. So if you like the content, this channel, Ginger Prime, is variety content, especially as it relates to MMOs and action RPGs. Like that's what you're going to get here. And then if you want more specific content, I have those channel breakouts with Ginger World Gaming, Ginger 14 Gaming, and Ginger Blue Gaming, essentially kind of focusing in on those upcoming games like Ginger Blue Protocol, but also with New World and with Final Fantasy 14. So you can always check out those contents there. You're going to get a wide range of different kind of styles, a wide range of what I like to cover in that case. But anyway, that's what I want to say. I thank you guys so much for your support, for watching this video, for the opportunity to talk to you guys about video games and to share my passion with each and every one of you. Originally back in 2022, before this craziness happened, originally I was opening up the membership to try and fund time that I could actually work in programming my own games. And that actually, like, that wouldn't change in this case. If I ever had more opportunity to sit down and do more things like in that space, that's what I would like to do. But also you can keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, as well as we kind of figure out what is the right pathway forward. And that's probably the hardest part if anybody's ever kind of looked at, your options, right? So I'm being told to lean in on content creation. And if you guys can step up and help out and make that, kind of more stable form of revenue, that actually would kind of make me want to, in a way. Like I continue to say, like, I really enjoy that I'm not a full-time content creator. Full honesty, I don't think 5,000 a month would make me a full-time content creator, because I'd still want to make sure I go and work on the coding and programming. But it would tell me that there's definitely, enough there to be able to rely on it in a reasonable way. That it's funny because it's like, if the kids are all grown and off in school and in college and whatnot, like the instability of YouTube, like, doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's just that, I have to make sure that I am the rock. I am providing a stable environment for the kids, and there's not a lot of chaos, in their world, because they're growing up and going through everything that we're all going through, but from a whole different perspective. And I'm trying to make sure that when they show up, dad's not stressed and things like that. That's not your job. That's my job. Anyway, I'll wrap it up and stop rambling. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for anything that you can do, that you are doing. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. But until then, take care.